Hi, everyone. I'm going to make this short, so sorry about the dry mouth. I should always apologize for that. I don't know why you still listen to it, but I'm sorry. And I have lots of it right now just because I have tons of anxiety. And I need to just say some stuff out loud because I just did, like to Alicia. She just popped home for lunch, or not for lunch, but she just popped home for a few minutes to bring me coffee that she didn't know I needed. So I'm glad that she did. And I told her what happened and she just left and I don't seem to feel like that much better. So I need to just get this out before I resume what I was doing. So it is Thursday and I thought last week was a crappy week as far as technology stuff goes. And I kind of thought, well, those things happen. In retrospect, it's easy to say that. But it turns out I'm having another week like that. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because, of this new laptop or something. And, for whatever reason, it's making things confusing for me. But without having to go into trying to explain what the issue was with the computer, because I'm not even going to bother with that. I'm just going to say I worked on a book yesterday for 7-8 hours that I didn't have to do. Because, the guy sends me, I guess I will explain it. The guy sends me a link to, he asked for my email to share the Google Doc with me. And I gave him my email, and so he shared it. And then, so I went to work. Well, in the past, pretty much currently too, every time I get an email that says, so-and-so has granted you access, I view it as a formality and an FYI. I've never had to go into the actual email because I've always had a link to click on in the message box, if that makes sense. So, because I'm talking about Upwork, navigating between email and Upwork. So I'll get the email that I've been granted access, and then in the Upwork message box is where they put the link. So the guy did that. He had a link. I clicked on it and I did the work. And it was PDF form. It was just bullshit. I spent an hour trying to figure out how to do this, convert it to Word, because I use Zamzar. I know how to convert documents, but it wasn't working for whatever reason. So whatever happened, I figured it out an hour later. Then I spent 7 hours, 8 hours doing this book. I turned it in last night and I'm oh, thank goodness. I'm right on track with my workload. And then today I wake up to this message from him going, I'm confused. The book that you edited was an example book I was showing you for the style guide for the actual book. And I felt like a fucking dumbass, I don't make professional mistakes like this. I just don't make these kinds of mistakes. The closest I've gotten is maybe a year and a half ago. I have a regular client and he sends me 2 books a month. And one time I edited one of the books and I realized at the very end I forgot to enable the track changes feature to show my work. So he couldn't tell that I actually worked on the book. And so I was hoping he would trust me enough to know that I have integrity. I really did compare the words between the 2 documents, the original and this one. But the guy was nice about it. He's I trust you. And he let that one go. And I got lucky. And that was humiliating. I don't like making mistakes like that. You say you're a professional and you're good at something, but then you make this obvious glaring error. And then so when I woke up to that message from the dude today, I just felt like a moron. And I'm not even upset. I would say out of 100%, 10% of me is upset that I spent several hours on a book that I'm not going to get paid for, although it did need editing. I didn't want to say that to the guy, but he said that book was already published. It had errors in it. So, if anything, he got a free editing out of it, but I don't know. I just can't believe it. But 10% about the time being wasted, 90% is the humiliation of like having worked on a book that I wasn't supposed to work on. And it's not his fault. The only way, I didn't even say I'm autistic because I don't have to say that for everything. I just wrote him and told him the truth. And I was like, this is the first time I've ever had to go into the email to get the document instead of clicking on the link. And it's not his fault. I just told him that's what I'm used to. That's why I clicked on the link. I didn't know that it was an example book. I thought that was a suggestion, like, hey, if you want an example book, I'll send one to you, because sometimes they do that. And I didn't indicate that I wanted a sample book, so that's not what I thought that link was. And he's fine about it. So I start working on the actual book, and I go to the Google document thingy, and I get 80 pages in to a 500-page book. It's more like a workbook, so it's not like ginormous, but I get about 80 pages in to the link, to the online one on Google Docs. He didn't pop in or anything. I never saw him, but I got this message on Upwork all of a sudden that said, hey, can you make sure you download the document and edit it? Don't do it online. And at that point, I had like 600 errors I had already corrected. So I said, sure, no problem. And so I downloaded it, and thank goodness the changes went with the download onto my laptop. But I don't know a whole lot about Google Docs, so I don't know how to just kind of reject all changes. I know how to do it for Word, but not on Google Docs. I just don't know how to do that. I don't know if you can do that. You probably can, but I always apparently have to do the hard thing. So I had to go in manually and spend like 20 minutes Xing out all the fucking changes I made. And then I got to resume my work on the downloaded document. I hope some of that made sense. Like, I don't know, maybe I just was like rushing or something and not paying attention to his email, but I don't think that's what it is. I think I just assumed that was the link, and that I didn't know he put the document in the email that said I got access. So I don't know. I just am so humiliated. That looks so unprofessional. And like, you know, I was also thinking, he must be sitting there like, wow, who the fuck did I just hire that doesn't even know how to read an email? But, you know, in my defense, it didn't say that link was the example book. It didn't say that. And it's not his fault. I'm not mad at him. The guy did nothing wrong. This is my error. It's just like, I'm mortified. I am mortified. And sometimes when stuff like this happens, like I said, it's not like it happens, but with that last example, it's almost easier that I don't, like, it would almost be easier if I knew this person, like I saw him in person. Like when I used to make mistakes at work in like prior jobs, you know, I would go to the person I made the mistake with, and I would just explain, oh my God, this is what happened. I am so sorry. And I didn't really dwell on it because they were okay and I dealt with it in the moment. But this is like the internet. You don't talk to these people, you just message them. So it's not like I can thoroughly or clearly explain, like, I really am not stupid. I promise I'm not stupid. And so like when Alicia came home a little while ago, I told her, and she's like, you know, when I make mistakes at work, you tell me that everybody makes mistakes. It's okay. We're human. And she's like, just apply the same logic to what's going on right now. And, sorry, really bad dry mouth. So it's easier said than done. Like, you know, when you make a mistake, especially one like that big, you think that, oh, this is the worst mistake in like ever. This is worse than any mistake anybody else has ever made. You know, just that kind of thinking. And I'm still kind of stuck on it. The good news is, like, I gave myself a deadline for this book. Like, the majority of the time, like, the clients, they don't tell you when they want the book back. Like, some of them do. they have like hard deadlines, but like the rest, I tell them how long it'll take me to get something back, and it's usually pretty quick. So it's not like I fucked up a deadline or anything. But yeah, I just put myself behind a day in work. So now it's like either I accept that or I try to work into the evening hours, which that's going to be for the next like 12 hours at least. And I think I might take that route because I don't like feeling behind. And this was a mistake that I made and I need to like catch up. And so anyways, I just have not been talking to myself very nicely for the last few hours. And so I need to get this out loud. I kind of do feel a little bit better. It's just, I don't know what to do about the embarrassing part though. Like, Alicia's like, if he doesn't hire you again for another book, then he doesn't hire you again. No big deal. Which that's true. It's not a big deal. I just like, I'm focused on, well, what if like when he leaves me a review, when we close the contract, what if he puts in there something that indicates I'm a dumbass, and people will see that, and you can't just delete reviews off your profile. There's a whole process you have to go through to ask for something to be removed. And even at that point, it takes a couple of weeks. So, but, you know, he got a free book edited, so I don't think he would do that. But I just, you know, I guess I'm just trying to hide this mistake from the rest of the world. And I'm talking like nobody ever makes mistakes, and I know they do. And I know that people have probably done this before, and I'm not the first one. But either way, it's just humiliating. And I need to just accept that that's what happened. The guy is cool with it. I've been working on the actual book. I'm doing fine. I'm not having a shitty day. I'm just not being very nice inside my head to myself. And so if there's anybody out there that you've made mistakes like this or something like this happened recently, you are not alone. And I'm supposed to say, hey, don't talk that way to yourself. But like I do, and so I feel kind of like a hypocrite, but I know that it's not a healthy way to talk. Yeah, the talking part. Yeah, I gotta go now. I gotta get back to work. I think the words are all gone, but that's all I had for today. This wasn't even a planned episode. There's gotta be somebody out there who feels like a complete moron when you mess up this big. Or maybe this is just a small error in the grand scheme of things, and I am blowing it up to make it out to be something huge when it doesn't have to be. Because I enjoy catastrophizing. I'm just kidding. I don't enjoy doing that. I wish I didn't do that, but that's what I do. So that's that. Hopefully you can relate. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.